Hello, welcome back to the Reading Mama. My name is Heather. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I'm going to try something a little different. I'm going to do a tag video. I am so new to this booktube thing. I started, I think last fall, technically, but I'm still figuring out the ins and outs with it, so please bear with me as I do it. But this is the get to know, see, I'm so old school, I printed it out. The get to know my taste tag. I saw Steve Donahue do this, and a few others, and I just piqued my interest. And so this tag was originally created by Samantha on Thoughts on Tomes, and Mari on My Name is it looks like Marines. Anyways, sorry if I butchered your name. I'll put all that information below. But I thought this was such a great way, being a new booktuber, sharing a little bit more about me and my reading process, and also just in general getting to know me. Hopefully this answers some questions if you are trying to figure out if this is the channel for you or not. And if so, if we have some kindred spirit moments, then please drop a comment below. I'd love to develop connections and have community with fellow book lovers. So let's start. Book one is How Do You Rate Books? Give a quick rundown of how you do your star ratings, or if you don't use star ratings, how you evaluate books. So part of why I started BookTube was because I wanted to be more accountable about what I'm reading, because I was reading so much. I'm a homeschooler. I have 8 children, and I'm reading a lot for school, but then I was reading to fill up my own cup, and I was just reading too much and I wasn't tracking any of it. And so I started tracking it. Goodreads is not my thing. I'm not a technology person. So I have started this year a little journal, and I've been writing in it, and I'll put a star rating by it, but they're kind of arbitrary. So I don't know that I'll keep with the stars, other than it's a good quick reference for me to kind of think, okay, was that really good or was it not? But I end up giving a lot of 5 stars because if I love it, I love it. And so this probably isn't the best way, and I will probably change that in the future. But for now, I have a newborn, it's a good, quick, easy way. And so I will write down the book I read for the month. Like after I finish a book, I write it down, and then I'll put a star rating by it, and then I'll put a couple of quick notes to help me. And then I try to share it on here. So anyways, that's kind of how I rate books for now. We'll see. Number 2, how do you approach reviewing books? Which review style are you? Analytical, emotional, casual, or structured? And that kind of answered that. I am hoping to learn to analyze books a little bit better. I think I mentioned this in my previous video. Like, I want to know more than, oh, I really liked it and I really liked the characters or the plot. I want to dive deeper. And so I'm working on developing that literary muscle, because I do enjoy reading. I always have, but I want to be able to expound what I take from my books a little bit better. And so I'm still working on how I'm going to review books, both here and just in general in my own mind. Number 3, what's the book that made you a reader? Whether it was your first favorite or the one that got you hooked, what book started it all? Honestly, I don't know. Steve Donahue put it this way, like that we don't remember what that is. And I don't. I just remember always loving books and reading. I know I read a lot of Babysitter's Club and things like that growing up, and I just read what they gave me, and a lot of it was just what was ever popular at the time. I did what the book, what the librarians pushed and what my teachers pushed, and I just loved, for the most part, I loved all of it, except the stuff in high school when we were analyze things to death. I don't want to do that. But there's not really a specific book that got me hooked. I do remember loving The Giver and reading that. And I still to this day love YA dystopia. And as I mentioned in my last video, I just love it. I remember doing, I think not so much there was a book, but I just remember things like, reading Rainbow and Wishbone and making literature fun. I remember loving the library and having librarians that really just made a difference in my life, because they would share books and they'd show it both in my school librarian. Like I can still picture sitting there and having her read. And so it's not necessarily one book, but it was the entire literary experience and having those who loved books around me. And I am so grateful. My kids get that obviously from me as a homeschool mama, but we had a librarian just a while ago, and sadly she's not there anymore. We actually saw her on the street pulled over the car to shout at her because we were so excited to see her. But this librarian, she took interest in my kids. She took interest in their reading. She asked them questions about what they were reading, not like to drill it out of them, but like, what do you really like? Oh yeah, what about this part? And it just made them love reading even more. And so it's not necessarily a book, but it was more the literary experience and joy of reading. Do you have a genre niche? Are there certain genres you gravitate toward, or do you read widely across genres? And I know on here lately I've been sharing a lot of YA and middle grade books because that's kind of where I'm at the moment, but I do read rather widely. As I shared in my newbie tag video, I don't read horror, generally speaking, and I don't do smut. If there's like a little bit, like, Kristen Hanna, she's towing the line, man. And she's pushing me a little bit further out of my comfort zone than I prefer, but I definitely don't like that. If it's heavily swearing, it's just my conservative Christian values sometimes push certain books out. I'm willing to tolerate some, but there is a line, and it's not necessarily clear cut. I just know when I've reached it. Let's see here. Do you generally prefer character driven or plot driven stories? Plot driven, 100%. And if I was not a plot driven person, I never would have finished an Ally Carter. I was pre-reading them for my teenager, and she needs to work on her characters. But yes, I am definitely a plot driven person. Let's see here. What's a book you love so much that if someone doesn't like it, you know your reading tastes don't align? Ooh, let's go back. Number 6. What's a book you love so much that you don't care if others don't like it? What's that one book you love enough for everyone? It's probably going to be Charlotte Mason, honestly. There are so many books that I love, and I really don't care if you don't love it. I'm going to tell you about it because I love it. I promise nobody is being tortured. They're just playing outside. But probably Charlotte Mason volumes. I could talk all day, and I do sometimes, about Charlotte Mason. And I am not a purist for her methods of education. I just really love what she supports. Number 7, what's a book you love so much that if someone doesn't like it, you know your reading tastes don't align? A book I love so much that if someone doesn't like it, tastes don't align. I don't know. I like a lot of different books. Like, I don't think there is one. If I love it, I'm pretty much assume that most people are going to love it. There's a lot that I know that we won't necessarily agree on, but honestly, I don't think I love anything that if I meet somebody and they don't love it, I'm gonna be like, oh, like if you don't like YA dystopian, that's okay. You're human. If you don't like Jane Austen, it's okay. Join the club because I only like a couple of hers. I don't think there is a specific title that we're not gonna be able to find our differences on. What's in your trash pocket? What books, tropes, or themes that you know are bad, but you love them anyway? I don't know. It probably would be YA dystopian because I will read pretty much any of those. There's some sci-fi that is probably really not great, but I do enjoy it just because. I don't know. I don't know if there's... I will say that YA dystopian and sci-fi are the ones I'm embarrassed to say. How about that? Number 9, do you have any deal breakers in books? Something that if present immediately turns you off from a book. Like I said, horror, immense swearing, graphic, pornographic writing. First of all, if you're doing those last 2 things, you're just not even trying as a writer. Get some vocabulary, get some dialogue going, read some Tolkien, get some imagery ideas, do something, because you're just not even trying at that point, and you're just selling simple, easy smut for the easy sale. So those are ones. And that goes into number 10. What's a strong opinion you have about a book released within the last year, whether it's overrated, underrated, or just a take you need to share? Honestly, I don't know because I don't pay attention to publication dates. The only book that I have read that I know was published this year was Sunrise on the Reaping. And that's because I totally fell for the hype and bought that book, and it was worth it. book that was released. It was not overrated, not underrated. It is just right. And I think everybody should read Hunger Games, if for no other reason, there's just so much you can draw from it. Like, my husband won't read the books, but he's watched the movies, and like, they're ones that every time we watch it, because we'll rewatch them, he has something to comment on. And the books are even more so, because it just parallels society so well. Suzanne Collins does an amazing, amazing job. And she has a younger book series called Gregor the Overlander. And this is way off topic now, but and it's middle grade, and I feel like I need to go back and reread that to analyze more about what she was saying, because she just does such a phenomenal job about making a comment, it's not so subtle, about the way government, capitalism, propaganda, I mean, just the world in general and society goes. And it's definitely worth looking at. And if you know your Roman history and those little tie-ins, they're fun too. So, Sunrise on the Reaping, there you go. Number 11, what do you look for in writing? What makes a book stand out to you? Is it prose style, themes, voice, structure, or something else? What do I look for in writing? Honestly, I look for things that are just, they're going to draw you in, that are going to, and that are written in such a way that is not oversimplistic, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not gonna lie. There are some pages where Tolkien is like, whoa, dude, you've seen it. He's talking about a tree way too long. And I love trees. And I love Tolkien. But, you know, sometimes the imagery just goes a little bit long. And I don't mean that, but then there are several books that I DNF'd because it was just, they're too short and choppy sentences. Like, I like how I'm talking right now. They're not getting the point across in a way that is just beautiful and draws you in and that you want to read. You feel like you're talking with somebody of a lower grade level or something like that, if that makes sense. For example, Lord of the Flies. I started reading that. I'm going to talk about in another video because it's a classic and I have a high schooler. Should I make her read it? I didn't have to read it. I think that there are going to be a lot of nuances in there that would be very appropriate to discuss. However, I really don't like his writing style. I don't like the way that he draws personalities. I don't like the style of just sentence structure that he uses. I just didn't enjoy it. There was another middle grade book I picked up that was about Japanese internment camps. I love learning about World War II historical fiction. That is like my bread and butter. But they had such short, choppy sentences that I wouldn't have even given it to my second grader to read because it was just so difficult to get to the point. And then by the time you're there, you don't care. So yeah, writing style does matter to me. There's not necessarily one style, one theme, but it does have to draw you in and it has to be written well. Number 12, how do you decide what to read next? Do you plan ahead, mood read, or follow external factors, hype, recommendation, arcs? All of the above. All of the above. I have started planning a little bit more. I'm always reading for our school, for homeschool, because we use a literature-based learning method. And so I'm always pre-reading for my kids. So that's my planning. And then since I've joined BookTube, I've done a few read-alongs and readathons and things like that. So I have those plans, which is a relatively new thing for me. I am very much a mood reader, very, very much. If I am having a hard time emotionally or physically, then I'll go into one of those, you know, YA dystopian rampants, or I will go into some Jane Austen or something that is a little bit comforting, you know, or that is just fast paced and I can kind of check out from the world. But if I'm feeling like, okay, I've got energy and things like that. And I think I just watched a video from Jack at Spread Bookjoy and she was talking about watching her energy levels. And I totally, like, I love reading nonfiction, but I can't do it before bed, generally speaking. That's just not going to happen. So, you know, paying attention to my energy, hype, like I said, Sunrise on the Reaping, certain things I will pay attention to. I started Fourth Wing and, like, I don't know, 10 minutes in, decided that's not the book for me. And so there's just different things like that. I plan ahead, I mood read, I sometimes follow trends. I'm not a trendy person. I am clearly not with it. I'm going to be turning 40 this year and I'm like acting like a 60-year-old about something. So not always the hype, but I do look at recommendations. I love watching BookTube because I can get such good recommendations. from people who love to read. And so that's important to me. Number 13, where do you get inspirations for your booktube content? What sparks your video ideas, other creators, trends, personal reading experiences? I'm brand new, so my content is trash. I get it. I'm not doing a great job here, and I understand that. I'm still learning and trying to figure out. And so I look at other creators. I love Chantel Reads All Day. I love Shelley Swearingen. I've stumbled upon Steve Donahue and really love his just like carefree manner. And there's a few others, and they all like they run the gamut of how they portray things. And so I haven't really fallen into one. Krista at Book and Jams is another one. Sorry, and I just they all do something different. But the one common theme that I have seen across the board from the people that I enjoy watching is that they aren't following an algorithm. They aren't following a pattern. They're posting what feels comfortable to them, both in content and timing. And that's what I'm here for. I want to share my love of reading. I want to share all of that. I want to share what I've read because my kids and my husband are tired of listening to me sometimes. I want to share all of that, but I don't necessarily want to get bogged down in the nuances of things. And so creators who are doing that, those are people I'm following. And so that's what you're kind of getting across here as I still learn the ups and downs of things. Let's see here. Number 14, if you could make any book go viral right now, what would it be? A book you think deserves more attention and why? I don't think that there is a book that I need to make go viral, and I don't think I could because I only have a few, a handful of followers. I don't think books need help going viral at this point. I think there's enough influencers out there. If anything, I would encourage you to, if I want something to go viral, I would be learning to just enjoy reading and love reading, whether you're listening to audiobooks on 2x speed or you're reading on your back porch with a drink in your hand, or you are hiding like me as a kid, hiding in your closet because you were supposed to go to bed and you're staying up to read. Enjoy reading for the sake of reading. Learn to love what it is and not worry about what else is going on in the world. Sometimes literally. Number 15, who are some booktubers with reading tastes similar to yours? Like I said, Krista at Books and Jams, Chantel Reads All Day. Chantel has the one really that her channel is what inspired me at Chantel Reads All Day. She just feels like a kindred spirit. and I think our oldest daughters also would be kindred spirits, even though we are in different countries. And so those are two that I can think of right off the top of my head that I just really fall in line with. There's probably more, and then I'm just not thinking about them. But yes, and then I'm going to tag a few others on here. But if you are watching this video and you want to do the same thing, I'll put the questions down below and you can join in. Thanks for getting to know me. Have a great day.